Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. As always, we have a lot of important information to share with you here this week, so please feel free to share this video with your friends, family, relatives, and anyone else who you think might find this information helpful over the course of the coming week. I want to begin by saying a very special thank you to everyone who came out to our Hispanic Heritage event this past week in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which nationally runs from September 15th to October 15th, as proclaimed and signed into law by President Reagan back in the 1980s. We had just about 25 people there, along with Holy Family Academy, selling coffee from Bria Coffee Roasters, which is a local business that gets their beans from Nicaragua. And they were selling that coffee there. We also had mariachis stop by from Boston as well. So it was a fun event for all. Looking forward to seeing how we can continue to grow that event year after year here in Gardner and celebrate our Hispanic population that makes up about 13% of our city's population and about 32% of our school-age population in Gardner Public Schools. So thank you to everyone who came out and participated in that event. I also want to give some congratulations to some organizations that had their unveilings, ribbon cuttings, groundbreakings. We're going to begin with Edward Jones Ryan La Liberty office over in the Timpani Crossroads area that had their official ribbon cutting ceremony this past week with the Greater Gardner Chamber of Commerce. Nice to see another business, getting a storefront in the Timpani Crossroads area. They are in between Starbucks and Clearview Dermatology. Great team over there with Ryan La Liberty, Dina, Liz Penny, everyone else who's involved in that organization there. Congratulations. And then I want to congratulate Haywood Hospital as well on the official groundbreaking of their surgical pavilion. If you haven't seen the plans for that, it's quite impressive. You can find all of that on Haywood's website and social media platforms, but it's the first time they've constructed new operating rooms since the 1960s, and it's going to give the hospital actually, for the first time, the means and location in which they can conduct minimally invasive surgery procedures that right now you really need to go to Boston if you're looking for those types of procedures. So we can do that right here in our own backyard. So thank you very much to Haywood Hospital for their continued investment in the community, and congratulations on reaching this milestone in their construction project. And associated with that, they also dedicated Yavorsky Way, the driveway into the surgical pavilion site, which is named in memory of Mr. Frank Yavorsky, the late facilities director of Haywood Hospital, who passed away suddenly this past year. It was nice to see his family there on the site, as well as so many of his employees and coworkers there to dedicate that roadway in his memory as a way to honor everything that he did for our community through his service for Haywood Hospital. So thank you very much to the hospital for finding that very special way to honor Mr. Yavorsky and his commitment that he did to the city of Gardner and the North Central Massachusetts and North Quabbin regions with his work through Haywood Hospital and Athol Hospital as well, and Haywood Healthcare. We want to remind everyone that the Fall Festival and Oktoberfest are taking place this weekend. If you haven't already, you can stop by any of the downtown businesses and pick up this flyer. All of the schedule of events that's happening is printed on the inside, and all of the participating businesses and sponsors are printed on the back. I want to say a very special thank you to the Board of Directors of Gardner Square 2, particularly Miss Patricia Bergstrom, who's in charge of Gardner Square 2 as its president, and who really did the lion's share of putting this together, as well as Jessica DeRoy, our economic development coordinator, and everyone else who was involved, our police department, our health department, Colin from my office, really everyone who came together to make this event possible. It's really nice to see this event year after year here in Gardner. Our Sidewalk Sale will take place from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. with the Oktoberfest beginning at 11 a.m. and going until 8 p.m. and the chair luge at 2. So it's sure to be an exciting event for all. Really excited to see this back here, and hopefully many people come out. There's also a parade that'll be going into the Fall Festival this year with the Gardner High School Wildcat Marching Band marching into the Main Street Square to perform Glory to Gardner as our cheerleaders perform before their big performance after that. Really excited because that's brand new. It's something we haven't done before at the Sidewalk Sale and Fall Festival. So just nice little new addition there, especially as we prepare for the upcoming 100th anniversary parade that will take place next September, but more to come on that as we move forward after and get closer to the 2023 dates when all of those plans will be solidified. We want to remind everyone that there is a Recovery Month event on Friday, September 23rd in Perry Auditorium here, put on by the Gardner Community Action Team and Veronica Patty, our prevention coordinator here at Gardner City Hall. September is a National Recovery Month for those who are recovering from substance abuse addictions. This is something that we actually have a guest speaker for who's very famous. His name is Brandon Novak, and that'll take place at 5 p.m. in Perry Auditorium here at Gardner City Hall, again on Friday, September 23rd. More information on that can be found on the Gardner Community Action Team's Facebook page, as well as the city's website and social media platforms as well. This coming Friday, September 23rd, and then on Monday, September 26th, Kendall Street and Warwick Street will be fully pulverized in anticipation of being paved. Again, when we say a road is being pulverized, we completely dig up the road from the foundation up and rebuild the road with 2 full coats of pavement after that. So for a couple days, it will be a dirt gravel road. However, we're coming back. It takes about a week in between when a road is pulverized to when it gets paved, and our paving work continues over in the Douglas and Robillard area as well. A lot of the pulverization was done already, and 3 of the roads have been paved with their base coat of pavement. However, the rain that we received this past week did delay our paving procedures over in that neck of the woods. So please be patient in that area. We understand that there were some rain concerns because of the manholes and storm grids being covered up to prevent any sediment from going in and clogging up the drains that way. However, we have addressed those, and we will continue to monitor the weather as we move forward. But again, once the rain holds off, we will be back in to fully pave those sections of the road so that we can, make them so they're no longer a dirt road after that, and then finally do the second and final coat before the snow falls this year. The domestic violence vigil that we annually do here at Gardner City Hall is set to take place on October 3rd at 6 p.m. That's a Monday evening on the front steps of Gardner City Hall. In the event of rain, it'll take place in the rotunda of Gardner City Hall. This is something that, again, that's an event that we do annually to show the people in the community that there are resources available if they are going through any issues in their own personal lives here, and that their city is behind them. So I do want to thank the Gardner Domestic Violence Task Force and the Spanish American Center for putting this event on annually and really continuing their advocacy efforts and improvement efforts here in the Gardner area. And lastly, before we get to the main part of this update, I want to give a special thank you to Chancellor Kumbal Subbaswamy from UMass Amherst, who came out to visit the city of Gardner and tour downtown. Chancellor Subbaswamy was my chancellor when I was a student at UMass Amherst, as well as several other people here in the city of Gardner, and was on his way to Boston. He just stopped by to say hi and get lunch and see what progress was being done here in the city of Gardner. The University of Massachusetts Amherst is one of the places that we typically have the most number of students going to every year from Gardner High School. This year, Worcester State did beat UMass, though. But either way, I want to thank Chancellor Subbaswamy for coming out and wish him well in his last year as Chancellor of UMass Amherst before his retirement this coming June. So thank you very much, Chancellor, for coming out. And then one of the things I'd like to end this week's update on is something a little different. One of the other things that's new at this year's Fall Festival is normally at this event, Gardner Square 2 will give out different awards for community heroes, people who have made an impact in the community. They've tried to transition that into something else this year, into a segment called New Kids on the Block. And what that is they'd like to recognize all the new businesses that have opened up in Gardner since last year's Fall Festival in the end of September, and those that have opened up during the pandemic that haven't had their full ribbon cutting and grand opening yet. And I'd like to go through that list, and it's a quite substantial list. And I want to thank those businesses that have opened up in Gardner in the past year and a half for their investment in Gardner, and I look forward to seeing these businesses grow and our business community grow as a whole as we, leave the questionable times that we had with the pandemic before, and now we're seeing all the investments and revitalization happen in the downtown, coupled with the work and investing that we've done in our own infrastructure downtown and our different business community programs through our ARPA funding, through the American Rescue Program and everything like that. It's nice to see this all come to fruition and continue to grow that way. So without further ado, I just want to give a shout out to those new businesses that'll be honored this Saturday in the update here as well. Shout out Screen Printing is a clothing store that's located at 255 Main Street. Gardner Smiles is a dental clinic that's located in Timpani Plaza by the movie theater. The Glow Room Tanning Salon located at 310 Central Street. Color Bar Beauty Salon located at 320 Central Street. We have 2 Puerto Rican food trucks that have opened in the city. Tata's Fonda, which is located at 55 Vernon Street, and Tu Antujo Boricua, which is a Puerto Rican food truck located at 287 Central Street. Straightaway Records, which is a vinyl record music store down by Lafayette Square, located at 118 Parker Street. Candor Realty, who we've heard a lot about from purchasing businesses, has opened up, or is going to be opening soon, I should say, their own real estate office in downtown at 88 Main Street. Dot Line Curve is a artist cooperative in which artists can drop off their goods to be sold there, mainly as a place and a venue to sell their goods there, located at 33 Parker Street. Little Red Wagon is a home decor shop located at 34 Sanborn Street. Botronic Spa Beauty Salon at 433 Clark Street. Knight's Nutrition, which is the smoothie shop located at 66 Main. Saged LLC, the spa located at 306 Central Street. Vibe Beauty Salon located at 33 Pleasant Street. Of course, Starbucks, which is the coffee shop located at Timpani Crossroads. Witch's Wardrobe, which is a consignment store located at 314 Central Street. The S.K. Pierce Haunted Mansion offered their tours as their small business located at 4 West Broadway Street in South Gardner. West Broadway in South Gardner. Golden Nozzle Car Wash located at 6 Pearson Boulevard. Balance Staffing Services, which is a staffing agency located at right in downtown in Main Street, 14 Main Street to be exact, right next to the old game nights. Catholic Charities Home Healthcare located at 55 Lake Street. Verizon Wireless Zone, which is a cell phone provider that'll soon to have their ribbon cutting at 308 West Broadway, which is the Timpani Crossroads location. Chris Guerra Broadcasting Services will offer videographer services at 213 School Street. A Gardner Thrift Shop, very evident in its name what it is, located at 280 Central Street. And Cody Griffin just opened J. Galt Financial Suite over on Greenwood Place. So those are all of the new businesses that have opened up here in the city of Gardner in just the past year and a half. Some maybe a little more than that, closer to 2 years, but we didn't go any farther back than 2 years in January in 2020. So the fact that we have that many brand new businesses opening up here in Gardner says a lot about what our efforts are doing here as a community. But that's not all who'll be recognized. The new owners of the Blue Moon Diner, Kathy and Bob Wright, will be recognized as well. The following businesses either relocated and invested in a new location in Gardner or expanded their services. Muscle Works at 34 Sanborn Street. Airport Plus Livery Services has relocated from Templeton into Gardner. Gardner Spirits, Haywood Hospital with their surgical pavilion. The Community Health Connections over next to Walmart. Their expansion soon to be open this December that'll offer family and medical practice, dental services, urgent care, and behavioral and mental health counseling. Montechusett Veterans Outreach Center with their recent expansion over on Central Street. And then, of course, Ryland Liberty Edward Jones, which we talked about earlier in this update. And then they'll also be recognizing a couple of the new landlords downtown, Candor Realty, who already owns 25 Main Street, the old Bullnose building, where they plan to have a restaurant in the front, an office space in the back, and 25 office spaces in the higher floors. They're soon to close this coming week on the Garbus building where Nails 2000 is open. They plan to keep all the commercial in the main level and then have around 8 apartments in the upper floors in that area, as they've also recently closed on the building that the buffer zone is currently located in on Parker Street as well. Again, the commercial is staying and then the upper apartments are being renovated. Those already have residential apartments on the higher floors. And I do want to say, every time we mention apartments downtown, these are all market rate apartments. These are not Section 8 or subsidized apartments. These are all full of market rate, which is sure to change the face of our downtown. Molina Realty Group will be recognized. They're the new owners of both Wheel and Supply buildings, as well as the Gardner News building and the Bank of America building. Initial plans for the Gardner News are one commercial storefront and then some apartments in the upper floors, with Bank of America potentially being a restaurant down the line. Empire Management recently purchased their building that they're located in. It's currently them, Gardner Coin Shop and Garden Pizza, as well as some other places that that'll soon be renovated in the future. The LaJoy family just recently purchased the Candlepin Bowling location on Main Street, and then of course Mass Ave Rentals with their work at the Temptations and Ryan Block building. So a lot going on with different developers and investors in the city, let alone in the downtown or citywide, and everything else going on. And there's soon to be some future projects over on Rear Main Street with the Rome building, over on Stewart Street, Prospect Street School, and School Street School. We talked about before in last week's update that the city's actually got a request for proposals out right now to hire a realtor to be able to sell those properties on the city's behalf. Without that, the city can't list properties in the multiple listing service. Or different other advertising platforms such as Zillow or things like that. So we're really doing that to make sure that as we're selling these properties and revitalizing these areas, that we're doing so in the most effective way as possible. And then last thing I just want to say on a personal note, if you allow me, I want to say just a special thank you to everyone who's reached out on the several dozen emails, phone calls, messages, everything else I've received, congratulating me on the 40 Under 40 award I received from the Worcester Business Journal. I've been going back and forth whether to mention this on this, but the outpouring of support I've received, I had to say thank you very much to the community. I really love working here, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the work that we'll be getting done over the course of the next year and beyond that. So, however, that concludes this week's update. As always, if you have any questions on anything going on in the city or wondering about any of those new businesses that we just went over, you can feel free to contact my office at any time, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week. Thank you very much, and have a great day.